We all use them. We've used them since childhood. A simple wooden pencil with a thin gray core that we call lead. You sharpen it, you write or draw, and somehow, despite how thin and brittle it looks, the lead rarely snaps while you're actually using it. It breaks when you drop the pencil or when you sharpen it too aggressively, but while writing, it usually survives just fine. For years, I thought this was just luck or cheap manufacturing. But the more I looked into it, the more I realized it's actually brilliant, quiet engineering. Let's start from the beginning. The story of the pencil really begins in 1564 in England, when a large deposit of very pure graphite was discovered in Borrowdale. People quickly realized this material was perfect for marking. It left a dark line and didn't need ink. But pure graphite is soft and brittle. If you tried to use it as a stick, it would crumble in your hand. So early pencil makers wrapped thin rods of graphite in string or sheepskin to hold them together. It worked, but it was messy and inconvenient. Fast forward to the late 1700s. A French chemist named Nicolas Jacques Conté found the solution that we still use today. He mixed powdered graphite with clay, formed it into thin rods, and fired them in a kiln. The clay acts as a binder. The more clay you add, the harder the lead becomes. Less clay, softer and darker. That simple idea is still the foundation of pencil manufacturing. But mixing graphite and clay is only half the story. The real engineering trick is what happens next. The graphite clay mixture is extruded into long, thin rods and then carefully dried and fired at high temperature. After firing, these rods are surprisingly strong for how thin they are. But they're still brittle. If you just glued them into a wooden casing, they would snap easily when you apply pressure while writing. So here's the clever part most people never notice. The wooden body of the pencil is not just a holder. It's an active part of the engineering. The pencil is made from incense cedar, a wood that is soft enough to sharpen easily, but strong enough to support the core. The groove for the lead is cut precisely, and the lead is glued in with a special adhesive. Then the two halves of the pencil are glued together under pressure. The wood actually supports the graphite rod along its entire length. When you write and apply downward pressure, the wood flexes very slightly and distributes the force, preventing the brittle graphite from snapping. It's a perfect marriage of two very different materials, the soft, supportive wood and the hard, marking graphite clay core. And the ratio matters enormously. A two-pencil, the most common, has a specific balance, not too hard, not too soft. Too much clay and it becomes scratchy and light. Too little and it smears and breaks easily. That sweet spot was perfected over decades of trial and error. Another small but important detail: the graphite rod is never perfectly centered by accident. Modern pencil factories use precision equipment to make sure the core runs straight through the wood. If it's off-center even slightly, the pencil becomes much more likely to break while sharpening or writing. So the next time you pick up a pencil and it just works, without the lead constantly snapping, you're holding a surprisingly well-engineered object that took centuries to perfect. It's not flashy, it doesn't have moving parts, but it's a beautiful example of practical engineering, solving multiple problems at once with simple materials and clever design. We take it for granted because it's so common, but when you stop and look, the humble pencil is one of those quiet success stories of human ingenuity. What do you think? Did you know how much engineering goes into something as simple as a pencil? Or did you always assume it was just a piece of graphite stuck in wood? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. In the next video, we'll look at something completely different but equally fascinating: how air brakes work on trains and ships, and why that technology has remained reliable for over 100 years.